So in this video we're going to start learning about factoring, which is what the next videos are all going to be about. And we're just going to learn how to factor in using the GCF, and the GCF should be a familiar term with you, which means the greatest common factor. So your objective is that you can factor by using the GCF, and you can define factoring. Alright, so all factoring is reverse multiplication of two polynomials. So before this, we had 5x minus 3x minus 7. So we would, in the previous sections, we distribute this to get 5x squared minus 35x. Or on this one, we would distribute the x twice and then the 6 twice, or we used our box and went x plus 6 and x and negative 5. Both ways we get x squared, and then you'd have 6x here and negative 5x. Remember, this is x squared. And then you get negative 30. So you get x squared plus 1x, or x, minus 30. So this is when we're multiplying them out. So down below we are factoring. Factoring is what two things multiply together give us that. And we're only going to focus on the first one today, and that's factoring by GCF. And what you're looking at is, what do both of these have in common? What divides both of them? Well, both numbers are divisible by 5. And notice both of them have an x. So I can divide both of these by 5x. So that tells me 5x multiplied, and if I divide this out, 3x minus 7, this product gives me this. So again, you are just reversing what we did before. So the greatest common factor, the GCF, and you did this with numbers to find what is the highest number that divides, or variable that divides each term. Okay. Now the reason why we're starting this is always the first step in factoring. We're always going to find the GCF, what divides both, or divides all the terms, every term in our polynomial. So let's do some examples. So we're going to factor finding the GCF. So what you need to look at is what divides every term in the polynomial. So let's look at the numbers. We have 4, negative 2, and negative 6. Well, all these are divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide all these by 2. And then we look at the variables. We have x cubed, so these are 3 x's. We have x squared, and we have x. So what divides each of them? Each of them have at least one x. This one has 2, this is 3, so at least everyone has 1. They all have 1 x as a factor. So that tells me I take 2x on the outside, 2x, and then I figure what divides each of them, or divide each one of these out. So I first look at 4x cubed divided by 2x. 4 divided by 2 is 2. X cubed divided by x is x squared. Then I go negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. And then x squared divided by x is x. Or you could have wrote this as negative x. And then negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. And my x simplify out. So this is factored. Again, all you're doing is that when I would take and multiply this out, I would get the top. We are just reversing. So let's take a look at B. Here. So I need to find the GCF of each. What divides both of these? The highest factor. Well, 5 divides both 5 and 10, so that's my highest GCF for numbers. And this one has 5 x's. This one has 3, so I can take x to the third out. Take out the highest amount of variables I can. Alright, so that tells me if I take 5x to the third, divide them out to get to my inside, my 5 simplified, I have 5 on top, 3 on the bottom, so that leaves me with x squared. And then 10 divided by 5 is 2. And then my x's simplify out. So that is my factored form. Alright, so let's do the next 3. So I'm looking at what divides both of these. Let's look at the numbers first. Both of these are divisible by 3. And then I look at my variables. Now the first term has x squared, but the next one does not have an x. So all I can use is 3. So 3 is my only factor. So then I put that on the outside. Then 3 divided by 3 simplifies out, so I get x squared. Negative 18 divided by 3 is negative 6. D, let's look at the numbers. 6 and 3, their greatest common factor is 3. And then I have y squared and y to the 4th. These are both divisible by y squared. Dividing it out, I have 3y squared on the outside. That multiplied to what gives me that? Well, that's 2y squared. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then my y squares cancel. There's my final answer. Alright, so then on the last one, I don't have any numbers, but I do have variables. I look at the f. Each one has at least one f, so I can divide both of these by f. And each one has at least 2 g's, so I can divide by g squared. So f, g squared, is on the outside. That's my GCF. I'm going to pull it out. We can say my f's cancel. I'm left with 1g. Here I have one of my f's cancel, so that's f to the 3rd. And then my g's simplify out. Alright, so review. Factoring is just reverse multiplication. It's kind of like a puzzle, like you're just trying to figure out what multiply together, what two things multiply together give me what you started with. Always factor out the GCF first. I'm going to go over and over in this because this is super important in the steps students always miss. This is your first step. Factor out the GCF and then you'll have more from there. And remember, the GCF can be variables and or numbers. Reminder to do your reflection so you get credit for watching this video.